over the past 100+ years, we have seen nothing but suffering for hundreds of millions of people. And that's because the creators of this chaos, the thinkers in Europe, they never intended to solve a problem. They intended to create a problem, perpetual problem, fuel the problem, sell weapons to the problem, keep the problem burning. So 20 years ago, when September 11th happened, people thought this came from nowhere. No, this came from a plan, what they want to do for the next 20 years. With that excuse, the United States attacked two countries that didn't attack us. Iraq, there was no evidence shown that Iraq in any way attacked the United States. Neither Afghanistan. But anyway, nobody questions that. An alliance is formed and two countries are destroyed back to the Stone Age. Hundreds of thousands of people in each country died. The infrastructure is destroyed. 20 years of war. 2.5 trillion of our tax dollars go into it. Is the problem solved? Do we have now two great democracies, prosperous countries, just like Japan and Germany? No. We still have Afghanistan today worse than it was 20 years ago. We have Iraq worse today than it was 100 years ago, because the intention was never to fix them. The intention is to keep them that way. A whole generation of people, of children that never went to school, of men who were killed or maimed, women who were left widows. We see that's happening in Yemen. We see it happening in Syria. We see it happening in Libya. We see it happening in Ethiopia. We see it happening everywhere. Because that is the goal. The goal is to keep this world in chaos. That everybody is fighting everybody, even within the same country. Within Libya, there are people, same people. But you have America and France and Russia and Turkey and all kinds of countries in the mix. So we, as Americans, as Muslims, we have to understand that we are part of this problem right now. We hear the headlines, oh, it's about democracy, about the rights of women in Afghanistan. It was never, ever about that. It was about chaos in that place, creating chaos that the whole region stays unstable. More weapons are sold, more wars are done. So the question is, which system do we want? Do we want Allah's system that brings unity versus disunity? Do we want a system that brings fair leadership that is transparent, accountable, or do we want dictatorships? Do we want Muslims to live as one people, brothers and sisters, or do we want to have Muslims fighting and killing each other? It is all up to us. What our children and grandchildren will see depends on what we choose and what we do. Therefore, the first step for us is to comprehend the plot against us, against humanity, against Islam and Muslims. Then we will be able to figure how to undo this chaos. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر والصلاة والسلام على خير البشر نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Many people feel a sense of despair. This is too big of a problem. We cannot change this. Just like Bani Israel felt when Fir'aun was applying such political tactics. إن فرعون علا في الأرض وجعل أهلها شيعا يستضعف طائفة منهم يذبح أبناءهم ويستحيي نساءهم إنه كان من المفسدين. Allah said clearly, Fir'aun, who ruled for over 68 years straight, said, إن فرعون علا في الأرض. He became a dictator in the land. He called himself, أنا ربكم الأعلى, I'm your Lord the Most High. You know, there are some dictators today, they demand from their followers to actually bow to them and worship them. Worship their pictures, have their pictures everywhere. Did Rasulullah ﷺ ask anyone to worship him or to have his picture hang up anywhere? But those rulers insist on that. Like every country you go to, you find the pictures of their leader everywhere, on the street, in the malls, in the shops, in the schools. He is like a god everywhere, present. Watch me, look at me. إن فرعون علا في الأرض وجعل أهلها شيعا. He divided its people into groups. That's what they do. They can't deal with all of you combined, united. They have to divide you into groups and tribes and see, either based on race or color or ethnicity or language or religion. How can we create groups? Then we can make them hit each other. يستضعف طائفة منهم يذبح أبناءهم. They start with the weakest, they slaughter them, then everybody gets scared. I don't want this to happen to me. Let me be friend with the powerful dictator. But he goes around to everyone. From that despair, who could expect that Allah will bring change? He said, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ ونمكن لهم في الأرض ونري فرعون وهامان وقارون منهم ما كانوا يحذرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change the condition of the people if the people want to change. But if the people don't want to change, by wishing and hoping and sitting there and just raising our hands and dua is not going to change. Allah sent Musa alayhi salam to bring the blueprint, the guidance, to tell the people, stand up to this tyrant. He is just a human being like you. Support the truth. Be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَتَوَكَّلُوا إِن كُنتُم مُسْلِمِينَ. That's what Musa told Bani Israel. Put your trust in Allah if you are really Muslims. And that's what I tell you today. If you want different future for your children and grandchildren, put your trust in Allah and be real Muslims and demand the change to happen. We cannot just keep paying so much in taxes to go kill other human beings, other Muslims, destroy other countries. This happened in the 60s and 70s in Vietnam. And then we thought America learned its lesson, but was repeated again in Iraq and Afghanistan. And after trillions of dollars and thousands of people dying, Americans, and hundreds of thousands or millions of Muslims, where is not a single voice to question today, 20 years on the anniversary of September 11th, where is the evidence for what happened? Who carried that criminal act? Who killed over 3,000 Americans on that day, including many Muslims? Why is it top secret? Everybody is scared. But if you don't demand change, change is not going to come to you. We want open transparency from our government. We want all the evidence presented to the world. If it is true, the whole world should see it. We deserve the truth after 20 years. What were the real motives to sending hundreds of thousands of troops to destroy other countries? If you believe Allah is with you on your side, then don't fear and demand change so that this stops, so we don't see 20 years from now our children who were born after 9/11 witness another episode like that. So there is hope, but that hope in Allah depends on what you choose to do. And if you don't care, if you feel this is none of my business, this is dangerous, then do not expect a change in your life or your children's lives. So many millions of Muslims across the Middle East, they surrender and say, I don't want the violence, I don't want the change. And they go back under dictatorship and suffering and poverty, crushing. So, my brothers and sisters, Allah gave us the diagnosis and gave us the solution in the Quran. He sent us Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the answers, not for intellectual entertainment, but for actual translation into action. And the rest is with us. And remember that Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change themselves. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ.